Afternoon, gentlemen.
G'day.
And how you do?
Good to see you both. We had a little bit of just normal technology difficulties getting on, but we're here now. So, look, sort of welcome back, Peter Coombes. He's been on a couple of times, I think, but not for a while, Pete. I mean, it's probably a few years since you've been on. So,
didn't that go fast?
Yes.
And I've just been flat out, but
It's
just the time of day goes after goddamn. To be totally honest with you.
You'll make us dizzy doing that. Now, before we start, we just want to hand it over to CJ. He'll do his acknowledgement, and then we'll get into it, Pete.
All right.
Over to you, CJ.
No, thanks, JB. Yeah, everyone sort of knows I'm over in Spain. I'm actually in Barcelona at the moment. So, Buenos Dias is what we say in Spain. That's what they say. I'm saying to you guys, that means good morning. I've just got to acknowledge country in Spain. So we've been shown around this beautiful place over here. It's, quite a lot. It's a magnificent. It's like a history lesson. It's just so amazing, so interesting, and I draw some comparisons actually to our history with what's happened here. You wouldn't believe it, but it's really interesting stuff. But so I acknowledge country here. I'm in Catalan country, so it's up the north. So it's the Catalan country. You got the Basque country a bit further over north as well. So, but there's many countries here in Spain, a bit like home. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
So I must acknowledge the Catalan country. I must, acknowledge their hospitality. It's been fantastic. Culture-wise, it's been a really, like I said, a history lesson, but also a cultural lesson as well. So acknowledging country here, but I must pay my respects to people from home. So up in Cairns, energy country, pay my respect, acknowledge country up there and our ancestors, but also in the Torres Straits, dad's from Thursday Island, but families from Badu, so acknowledge both of those places. So hand it back to you, brother.
Yeah, well said, brother. Well said, and thanks for that little bit of history as well. Very interesting. So, I too just want to acknowledge the traditional custodians, where we all work, meet, and play, and just pay the utmost respects to all our elders, past, present, and any up and coming, and just pay tribute to all our old people, our ancestors, for getting us where we are today, and fighting doing the hard yards, if you like. And also, I want to acknowledge where I am, Guyable country here in Pittsworth, and I want to acknowledge my mob, the Muddy people down there in southwestern New South Wales as well. And I'm going to hand it over to Peter Coombes, who has been on, I think, a couple of times, but I think it's like, as everyone probably knows now, we've been going for, close to, we'll be close to 6 years soon. So Pete probably hasn't been on for 3 or 4 years. So really good to have him back. And Pete's one of those real success stories that he's probably a little bit shy in the way he goes about telling it, but I'll let people know that he is one of those real success stories, and he's doing some amazing work out there as well. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Pete, to just fill us in on what you've been up to, and just have a yarn, brother. So it's your spot tonight, and you talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Ali, for having me on. My name's Peter Coombes. I also acknowledge country. I'm coming from the lands of the Innaburra people up here in out here in the Mount Glorious area, Nebo area. Been removed. Hello.
Yeah, keep
Hello,
going,
mate.
Pete.
Can you
Keep
hear me?
going,
brother.
Keep going.
Nebo.
Can you hear me?
There's a place I've been doing for a while.
Yeah, we can hear you, brother. We can hear you. Keep going.
He's having some problems. Yeah, he'll come
Having a
back in.
few problems there, brother, but
Yeah,
really
it looks like
good to see Pete, and
Yes.
looking fight and fit for a young fella. So I know he's been doing some work around home as well. So he's been lifting some. He said just before we before we went to air that he's been like he's doing a rock retaining wall at home, and some of the rocks is 20 kilos, 25 kilos. So he's building up those muscles, brother.
Bloody hell. Yeah, must be. So he's out at Mount Nebo. What did he say? What was the place he was at? Oh, Glorious, Mount Glorious.
Yeah, Mount Glorious.
Oh,
That's
Central
correct.
Central Queensland. Oh, okay.
Well, not quite. Not quite. It's I think it's closer to Brisbane, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I thought he mentioned Nebo because Nebo's out near the mining country there at Western Side.
I'm sure we'll get Pete back in a minute, so we'll be able to ask him. We've got Derek Wilson there. He said, "G'day, Jack, Peter, hola, Charlie,
hola."
Yeah, and g'day to everyone. Yeah, I'm going to stick with that. So.
Yeah. No, it's yeah. I think he might be out that way, Mount Glorious. Yeah. When it gets back on, I'll quiz about that one anyway. So that's where I used to live out that way as well.
Yeah, okay. So. Well, we'll wait for Pete to get back on because I'm really looking forward to having a yarn to Pete and see what he's been up to because he's doing some of that counselling work as well. So really interesting fellow to have a yarn to. And as we said, he hasn't been on for probably three years, brother. So,
jeez. What's that going? He mentions almost 6. It is almost 6 in March next year. So.
That's what it'll be, brother. That's what it'll be in March. So,
Jesus, I only went to school for 7 years. Primary school, that is.
So
6 years.
I must ask you, brother, how's MJ going?
She's going good. She's fighting fit, but that'll all come to a whole lot when she has her second surgery. So. We're currently, like I said, in Barcelona. We're going to hire a car on Saturday. We're just waiting for. She's got to go and get another treatment here. There's it's amazing. There's a lot of places in Spain that treat her condition. Not like in Australia, you just can't find one. You're lucky if you do. But so we're going to Barcelona. We're going to leave Barcelona and have one more treatment. Saturday morning we hire a car. We're going to drive across the coast, drive from one side of the country to the other. Would you believe it? From the Mediterranean Sea over across to the Atlantic. It's going to take us. If we did a straight run, it'd take us 6 hours, and they're a bit worried about how long that is. They said, "Oh, you're going to drive that far?" I said, "Oh, we're used to that sort of stuff."
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
But yeah, we're not going to take 6 just a day to do it. We're going to ride around, have a look around in some places, and probably stay a couple of nights here and there, and then get to San Sebastian. From there, San Sebastian's on the west coast, on the Atlantic, so we'll probably drive down the coast, all the way down the Spanish coast. I think it's the northern coast, and then into Portugal. We want to be in Portugal in November sometime, and Michelle's surgery is on the 13th of November, so we really need to be somewhere there early in Portugal, somewhere early November, and then it's about a 5-hour drive from there to back to Madrid. So we want to spend a little bit of time in Portugal. But yeah, it's been good. It's been she's been really well. We had a bit of a half day tour yesterday, and she was a bit tired right at the end of it. We got back here about 3 o'clock or something. It was a half day, but we got back about 3. And both of us, we just went and laid down and fell asleep until 8 o'clock that night.
Yeah.
Woke up and said, "Oh, geez, we haven't had tea." So I went down we're like in the tourist strip of Barcelona. It's called Ramblas. Anyway, there's heaps of food and restaurants everywhere. So I went down and grabbed a pizza, pulled it back up, and we had some food, had a bit of a yarn, planned for yet till today, and then back to sleep again. So.
Oh, fantastic, brother, fantastic. And you enjoying that?
Oh yeah, immensely, mate. Yeah, it's this is the part that we didn't enjoy that first bit where she's had her surgery and recovering and all that sort of stuff because we couldn't do anything. But once she felt well enough, we started to do some travel, I suppose, and that's why we're here in Barcelona. We're enjoying this bit of it. It's amazing place. We're back at the salt water, so we like to be closer to the water.
Yeah. Now, brother, I see you got a long sleeve top on there. What's going on there?
Well, it's about 16 outside. It's freezing.
Oh,
What's going on?
Okay.
16.
Okay.
What's going on?
Well, I mean, we've got some lovely hot weather here at the moment, brother. Over 30, every day. So we're enjoying that. We're enjoying that. The only thing we're missing is a bit of water. So.
Oh, really? Running out of water?
Oh no, not running out of water, but just somewhere to swim.
Oh, okay. Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Certainly there's dams out there somewhere, but they might be cool.
Yeah. I must say we've been pretty busy as well. With work and like we had an amazing trip out to Gundawindi last week, and we met with some fellas that we're going to do some work with out there. And Uncle Carl McGrady was our tour guide, if you like, and he's just an amazing fellow that wants to help and wants to share knowledge. And he took us out to, I hope I'm going to say it properly, but Boobara Lagoon. And what an amazing place it is out there. And that's one of their sacred sites. And it was just absolutely beautiful to go out there and hear a little bit of that history of the place as well, brother. And it was just an amazing trip out there, and it did so much for all of us that went out with him to be able to listen to some of the stories from there, and just sit and be in that space where it's just amazing. So so we do thank Uncle Carl McGrady for that. Absolute champion. Have tried to get him on numerous times, brother, but I'm not going to say he's shy because he's not a shy fella at all. But we will get him on one stage. So
no, it's I'd like to get out to that country. It's pretty, there's amazing places around the place. Like our country's got lots of them. There's some interesting places here as well. But we're just enjoying. Look, there's. I don't know whether you've been over here, but there's like little alleyways with shops and stuff all down the side. You're just walking through, and it's like a maze. And but the tour we had in Valencia, the young lady that was there she was full of historical knowledge, I guess. But they at one stage here, this country's made up of several different countries. Each country has a king and a queen and all that sort of stuff in Spain itself. So so it was a democratic country as well. So there were kind of relationships that were developed and all that kind of thing between countries, within country, and then there was a guy in the army who was a general or whatever. His name was Hector, I think it was Hector, and he overthrew the government and became a dictator for 30 to 40 years, mate. And one of the things they had to do, if anyone spoke their old language, get this, if anyone spoke their old language, they would be arrested and locked up.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, what? Really? Happened here too? And so they weren't allowed to speak their Catalan or their Basque or their local language. They had to speak Espanol. They had to speak Spanish.
So there's a few similarities there, brother.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So and it's like going from Victoria to North Queensland, where their slang or their use of the our use of our English language is a little bit different.
I'm just going to bring Pete back on, brother. He's back here, so let's bring him back on and see if we can.
How's it going?
Hey, you there, Pete?
Yeah, bloke. Yep. I'm here.
All right. So we've got a black screen, but we can hear
Yeah.
you. Now I don't know what you've done, but you've actually come on again. So hang on a tick. Hang on. There we go. So now we've got two Peter Coombeses.
With no screen.
With no.
You got your camera on, mate? Video.
Yeah, mate, we went down this path a little while ago before the session started, and that's just for some reason the camera's not working.
Oh,
I've been doing this through my phone up until now.
Yep.
And
it's probably better audio at the moment than it was before. But
I'm happy to not show me face, mate.
Oh, the only thing is we can't see your smiling face, brother. So
pretend.
Can you draw one on there, mate? I don't know.
Yeah, might have to. Yeah.
Nah.
But great to have you back too, Pete, because just talking a little bit about you and saying that you've been building a big retaining wall there with plenty of big heavy rocks, brother. So
yeah. Where did I drop out at, mate?
When you said hello.
Oh.
Now you mentioned Mount Glory. You mentioned Mount Glorious and Nebo. So is that Nebo up in central Queensland, mate?
That's just outside of Brisbane.
Yeah.
Oh well. So Nebo's Mount Nebo, isn't it? You're talking about?
Yes. There's a little village called Nebo.
Yeah.
There's a little village there called Nebo, and there's a little village a little bit further on called Mount Glorious Village.
Yes. There you go.
The range that runs through there, they're both on the same range. But there's a certain section on the road where it changes from Mount Nebo to Mount Glorious. But I've got Mount Glorious at my back door, and I've got Mount Nebo at my front door.
Sure. So you're up past Sanford there, eh?
Yeah. Another.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I know where you are now. Yeah.
Another 10 k's or so along from Sanford.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a lovely spot, Charlie.
It is beautiful up there, mate. Yeah, we used to live at Fernie Grove.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, headed to Sanford a fair bit, Sanford Village and all that sort of stuff. So.
It's a beautiful spot. We've got. We've worked hard to get what we got. Melissa, my partner, is. She's been a massive support in my life change. And we bought this property to get away from the big hubbub of Sydney. And she stepped out of her role at the University of New South Wales and took up a role at Queensland or QUT. And then she took on a second role with Sydney University. And there was a program run down there. Lisa Jackson basically headed she was in the Vice Chancellor's department.
Lisa Pulver Jackson?
That's the one.
Yeah.
That's the lady. And Lisa was instrumental in setting up this program called SLIC, which is Service Learning in Communities. And what they would do was any university student who could foresee themselves wanting to get out into local or remote communities would sign up to this. It's a one-term, one-semester program. So they would have two programs each year. And there could be anything. It could be people in, social workers. It could be psychologists, psychiatrists. It could be law. It could be architecture. It could be anything. Any course that was available at the university in Sydney, they could sign up for it if they saw that there was something they could learn out of it. So what they would do was they would introduce them to how to work and what to expect in communities to get the best out of the community environment without coming with this, I'm from the government approach. I'm here to help you,
Always a good thing.
Yeah, and it was quite the changes. Like I was asked to present this we used to do it over 3 or 4 days, depends on how much time they could allocate, called Family Wellbeing, and it covers different aspects of people's lives, their emotional lives and so forth. And it delved into all sorts of things like, qualities of leaders and emotional triangles. You've got 3 different triangles: the drama triangle, the caring triangle, all this. Anyway, I was one of the only males in New South Wales accredited to deliver the program. I had to go and do a 5-week course of the 4 different stages, plus the 5th stage was the facilitating training course. And this is part of the improvement in my life that I've been able to introduce since linking up with Jack and Mibambar and the Mibambar community at large. Along with the narrative training I did in Adelaide, it's just transformed me, Charlie, to a different person. I can see myself clearly as a different. I'm not the Peter Coombes that was running around the streets of Tweed Heads back in the early 2000s. I was really doing stupid stuff, and I was pretty well off the rails. I was right at the bottom of the barrel of depression. I just really couldn't give a care about life, to be honest with you. But it was these opportunities that connecting with, and I don't know. I'm not trying to oversell Mibambar. Believe me, it deserves to be oversold though, because of the power that it offers people to change their lives. It's a really life-changing job that Jack's doing, him and Lisa. And I'm just so lucky to have been involved in that for myself. And I was saying when I was offline there, when I was off air there, all this has allowed me, all the support I got from, the Indigenous community around Tweed, some of the lads from the Bowie area, Bow Desert area, Jay Sandy and the likes, lads from around Australia. When Jack offered me the role to be the secretariat for the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Men's Health Researchers Organisation. Did I get that right after all these years?
That's a mouthful, brother. But yeah, no, I think you're pretty spot on with that. So yes.
So I got to reach out to lots of fellas just to connect with them, to organise get-togethers, on the phone, stuff like that. And that was really a beginning for me. It was, and then Jack, when that funding for that role run out, Jack brought me in under the umbrella of Mibambar and paid me through that program. And I was a couple of years with Mibambar as the opportunity that come out of that allowed me to go down to Adelaide to the Nunkawuran Aboriginal Training Centre, and where I did my narrative training. And I was able to use a lot of that learning, not only to assist others, but to heal myself, really. And I still use that today with my clients on the Quitline program. I'm a bit of a loose cannon, possibly one might say. I don't really fit the structure of Queensland Health's framework of work style, because they have very rigid structures on how you're supposed to do things. And I'll go, well, that's okay for you mob over there, but our mob we're not bound by structure. We're bound by reality. So when I get online to a client who's needing assistance to quit smoking or vaping, I just talk to them like we're talking today. I'm not here to give them I'm the expert about this. The only expert that I'm talking about is the person on the other end of the line. They know their life, I don't. And I just offer them an opportunity as a sounding board to tell me what their challenges are around the cigarettes, the vapes. How do I assist them? And look, I've been with Quitline for 7 years now, and I took the role on only because it gave me that opportunity to pay forward for the to community for the assistance I got, the support that I got. I call it a psychological debt, and I have no problem how big that psychological debt is, and I'm quite happy to continue paying it back. And this is one way for me to do that. And so I guess I've been sort of blessed, really, um, by getting to know the likes of Jack, who's opened that doorway up for me. He didn't push me through with the door; he just opened it.
I tried to shut it before he got in.
Well, I had been put in it by then, mate. There's no way.
She was ajar.
Yeah, so look,
Couldn't get that foot out. The foot was stuck in there. So,
but look, since I've left, since I've left Mippenbar's company or working for Mippenbar, I've never left Mippenbar's company. I've worked with Quitline for 7 years now, and I don't know whether you saw the cup that I was holding. That's one of the Mippenbar cups that I got back in 2009 or something, and I use it. I've been using it. I only work 3 days a week for Quitline, and it sits in front of me every day I work. I use it all the time. I haven't broken it or chipped it yet, Jack. So
I'll send you another one, brother. I'll send you another couple.
I have no intentions of breaking this one.
She's good.
So yeah, it's been a great journey for me. It's allowed me to make changes, and now I see a day. I mean, I'm 71 years old, for crying out loud, and I quite often I think to myself, what the hell are you doing? Why don't you just get out and enjoy life? Well, I am enjoying life.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying what I'm doing. So I don't want to quit. I don't want to retire. Not because I miss money or anything like that. Christ, that's immaterial. It's nice to have a few bob in your pocket, but at the end of the day, it's not about. That's not wealth. Wealth is what you got around you, not money. So yeah, look, I'm just another Aboriginal fella, a Kamilaroi lad who's finding his own ways through life, and I've been doing that for 71 odd years now, and it's still an unknown pathway where it's going to go. So I'm quite happy to just plod along and do what I got to do, and like the rest of the time I'm not at work. I'm working here on the property. We've got this 15 acres, and it was an absolute horror show when we got here. It was just overgrown with rubbish lantana and everything else nasty you could think of. And I've just spent all my time here, returning the land back to its natural state. I've cleared, I don't know how many acres of lantana I've cleared, all by hand. Never had tractors or anything like that to do it. It's all been done by hand, or whippersnippers and hedges and chainsaws. And so it's all physical hard labour because I live on the side of a mountain, obviously. So my time here is putting my time back into the land here as well. It's a bit like spending time with Quitline and allowing others to change their lives and heal them to get away from the traumas of the damage of cigarettes and smoke, or vapes, I should say. But with the land here, it's about returning this back to its natural state for the wildlife. And so it's physical demanding. Jack mentioned the brick wall, or not the brick wall, the rock wall that I've been building. And that just started out as a small vision, and I thought, well, Jesus, how hard's it to build a rock wall? Can't be that goddamn hard. So I asked my two boys, because they've built rock walls in their past, and they said, "Oh, you've got to make sure you put drainage behind it. You've got to do this." Okay, so I got a bloke out to have a look at it, and he was going to come and do the job for me, and belted down rain for a couple of weeks and turned the place into a quagmire. Couldn't do the work for, geez, month and a half, 2 months. Weather cleared up, the ground dried out, ready to go again, and down she come again. So
Yeah.
in the end, I just thought, well, look, I'll do it myself. There's a window of time here, and this guy may not be ready. He might be off on other jobs, which is fine. So I thought I'll get in and do it myself. So I taught myself how to build a rock wall.
Now, I was going to jump in there for a minute. Now, CJ, Pete's one of those sort of fellas that he's a perfectionist. So I haven't seen this wall, but I can imagine that it would be perfect. Now, how am I going describing that, Pete?
Perfection is not the word I would use. Let's say it's effective.
Yeah, no, it's much more than that, brother. Much more than that. Like Pete taught himself along the way to play the didge, to make didges, to make clapsticks. He does a lot of work with sheet metal and iron, these sort of things. So I've seen some of his work, brother. And some of his artwork as well. So I can honestly say that. This wall would be just about perfect, I reckon. So
Have to be. Bloody hell. Jeez, mate. And how you doing that, mate? Have you got any kind of equipment? Or obviously a shovel or two, but is it all done by hand?
I got the rock dropped off by body trucks, like tip trucks.
Yeah.
Each cubic metre is over a tonne, and I would get 10 cubic metres each time. I got 2 truckloads come in. Some of these rocks are too big for me to physically pick up.
Jeez.
The machines I got a little old tractor that drags a trailer around. I bought myself a little excavator to pick the rocks up from down the bottom where they were dropped off, and I would load them onto this little trailer and use the tractor to drag it up to the site where I'm working, and then I'd roll them all off the trailer, and then most of these rocks were put in by hand. I had to physically lift them because the workspace I was in, I couldn't work from the top of it. I had to work from the lower side of it, and I had to work in front of it, and I was in a very restricted space, so you couldn't actually pick a rock up and put it perfectly where you wanted it. So, and if I had to pick a big one up that I couldn't get, I would pick it up with a machine. Obviously, I've got a grab on it, and I would pick it up with that. And I'd lower it roughly into position, and then I would just spend time manhandling it around, turning it over, getting it to where I really wanted it to be.
Yeah, see, yeah.
And then most of them are put in by hand. I physically pick them up off the ground, and I'm looking at anything from 20 to 40 kilo of rock, and so it was labour intensive, Jack. Charlie.
Very labour intensive.
It was. Now we just got a comment here from Derek Wilson as well, and he said, "I know the feeling. I never worked well with Gabbar's structure, even when it cost me. I learned a better way from lived experience and the aunties and uncles whose campfires I was welcomed at. I wonder, Peter, if perhaps we have to do the first part of the journey of what people would call wayward to learn, so as to later support others doing their own journey." I think really well said, Derek, and I think Pete might agree to that as well.
Derek, that's a lot of wisdom there, brother. A lot of wisdom. Life experience to me is the most important part of handing on knowledge. What you learn out of a book at college is only the tip of the iceberg. I think that's important that you learn that to begin with, and then blend it with the life experiences. But I think you got to develop, I know you have to develop your own style on how you go about doing that. You just can't be a robot. People will pick you out too easy. You got to be very grounded in what you do. And you got to be prepared to shut your mouth for a while and open your ears up and actually listen to people and what they're saying, because they're pleading you. They're pleading with you for assistance. And as I say, I'm not the expert in their life. I know what I want. I know what I can do, but I don't know what others want. I don't know what they can do. So I've got to explore that. And this is where I fall foul of the structure, this framework that Queensland Health would like you to work by. And I'm not dismissing that. It's just our mob don't need it. You know, a lot of our mob don't initially get to talk to Indigenous counsellor, because I'm employed as one of the Indigenous council leader, because cultural needs. A lot of our mob don't trust still the non-Indigenous contact, and they only want to talk to an Indigenous counsellor. So that's my role. That's specifically what they employed me for. But the sad thing is a lot of these people get referred to us by service providers all over Queensland. But one of the key questions when they write these referrals out for our clients is, would you prefer to talk to an Indigenous counsellor, is not asked. So when their first call comes in, we have made it. We've fought for this for a while now. We've made it. If any of our mob are being contacted by the quit line by a non-Indigenous counsellor, one of the first questions they have to ask, once they're identified as being Indigenous, because that will come in on their referrals. One of the first questions they have to be asked is, would you prefer to talk to an Indigenous counsellor? And the second question is would you prefer to have a gender-specific counsellor talk to you? Because we still deal with men's and women's business. And when you look at what's going on up in the NPA today, a lot of the women up there still are afraid to talk to a stranger because of what could happen if somebody informs their partner that she was down at the local shops today and inadvertently some visitor has walked up to her and just possibly asked her a genuine, innocent question. Where do I go to do this or whatever? And she's seen responding to that. And before she gets home, the grapevine have informed her partner. And that's not frowned upon. Well, it is frowned upon. It's not accepted behaviour. And that lady's in danger. And I found that out when I was up there with the Department of Social Services. The local lady I was up there with, she just said to me, whenever you go down to the supermarkets here, do not engage in a conversation with one of the local ladies, because she won't fare well if you do. And I said, okay. So we've got to offer that cultural safety need to our mob. Doesn't matter where in Queensland or the straits that they live, we have to offer that to them. And we've fought hard to get that as a preference. And I'll quite regularly talk to somebody on their second call, because the first call they ask, well, look, we can set you up for the next call with an Indigenous counsellor, but were you okay to do the first call with me? And when they're in the moment of us ringing them, they're in the moment, they're ready. You don't want to delay the call. So they'll go through and do the call with a non-Indigenous counsellor. When I get to talk to them, and I just talk to them like I'm talking to you fellas right now. It's just a straightforward conversation, down-to-earth conversation. I get to know them. I ask them about their interests. I like to know who their mob is. And that just builds the foundation to work from. You're solidifying a foundation of trust where you can both feel comfortable talking to a stranger over the phone without even seeing a face. And it's a special skill to be able to do that, to get that trust within 10 minutes of talking to a person. And so you're having this conversation. I haven't even spoke about what I'm really supposed to be talking about. I should have been 10 minutes into a conversation about how they're travelling on their quit journey. I'm too busy finding out who they are. And then when I get into the real part of the conversation, again, it doesn't change. It's the same way. I use the same approach, but I do it differently. And somewhere along the conversation, I hear this so often. I go, wow, you're so different to talk to compared to the person I spoke to before. It's like they were reading from a book.
Yeah.
You know? So you treat them like a person. You've got to treat people like a people. And Derek, that approach, seriously, as you has put it, I think you combine the best of the two worlds of learned knowledge through college or education, but learned knowledge through life experience of your own, then you can become a very good communicator with any of our mob anywhere around Australia. I hope that answers your question, mate.
Well said, Pete. And there is a couple more comments there from Derek as well. He said, do you get called Precision Pete, Peter?
No.
And then he said, thank you, Peter. And then he said, definitely, brother, open the ears is important, listening without judgment or assumptions. Yeah, so true again, Derek. And that's why we have two binungs, isn't it? And one mouth, so we can listen doubly.
Doubly, brother?
Doubly. I'm making up my own. I'm making up my own language, brother.
Go for it. Go for it.
Yeah. No, Peter, mate, that's amazing, mate. And I agree with you and everything you've said, mate. It's really important that, we, when we're looking for help, we want someone that will listen to us. You know what I mean? Not try to fix us, if you like. It's about listening, I guess, and get offloading that stuff. Sometimes it's just having someone who listen to you, which is great in terms of offloading that stuff that you're troubled with or you're struggling with, and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, absolutely, and it takes a little time to get that trust and a respect, I guess. You just can't go, point blank, and start pounding questions out, that type of stuff. It's not, it's bloody 101, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
And
it
really is. It really is, and I think that's where a lot of people get themselves into trouble, if you like, when they go into our communities. Whether they be regional, remote, rural, or whatever the case is, or even urban, and even in an urban setting. People feel the need to talk. They can't sit in that silence and try and you talked about building that respect, building that rapport. They can't sit in that and just be in the moment. They have to be talking. They think that silence there's something wrong with silence, where we all know that sometimes it's that test. Can you sit in that, and can you handle the silence, and then the real gold comes out after that.
That's
and
true.
and Pete, you probably experienced this as well, as that it's that you don't have it's that first impression. Okay. Yeah, and it may not be you talking or someone else talking. It's actually just sitting with someone and getting that first impression from that that being, I guess, being together. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. And our mob, and I'm sure other cultures as well, can sort of determine straight away who this person is, just by sitting and being with them. Yeah.
And there's reasons why, Charlie. I mean, I'll go back to the interactions we have with our non-Indigenous counsellors with our mob. And because we have multiple calls with our clients over 6 weeks, we have to leave notes for the next person who's addressing, so we know what's going on. And there's times when you'll read the notes and go, oh, this client is very unresponsive. They don't respond to questions. And I read these notes and I go, oh, okay, what's going on here? And when I start to talk to the person, and you talk to them like an Indigenous person, you just want to get to know them. And then there's so many times when I've experienced this, as you ask a question or you put something forward in for a response, and then that's when the mouth zips up and the ears open up. And I'm quite happy to sit there for 40 seconds or more if I have to, because I know a lot of our mob are not just instant responsive. They need time to think about what they want to say. They just don't want to make a goose of themselves and spill the first thing that comes through their thoughts out as words. You can't take it back. And some people just think deeply. So I'm just quite, I've said to these people that I work with, I says, why do you need to talk so much? Why can't you just be quiet and learn to sit in the cone of silence? Because the individual that you've been talking to just needs time to think about what he wants or she wants to say. And it's simple. So
yeah, well said, Pete. Well said. Now, Derek's got another comment there. I'm just going to read it out. Thank you, Peter. I spent 30 years working, as you've explained. I'm retired now due to health, yet it is good to hear positive feedback from someone such as yourself. I still get the occasional message from people I work with just to say g'day and that they are doing okay. And I think that's one of the best tributes, if you like, that you can ever get, Derek, is people from the past that you've worked with just ringing up to say g'day, just calling or messaging or whatever it is, just to say, I'm doing okay, how are you? I think it's just amazing, and I just think that there's so many people that would have benefited from your story too, Pete. So so thank you.
And Derek, just to add to that, OK Day is not just one day a year, bloke. OK Day is 365 days a year. And it's good to hear that people are checking in to let you know that they're doing okay.
Now, Pete, I want to take you back. Now, I don't know if anyone's seen when Pete first come on, when we did have him on camera. He had a shirt on that dates back to 2009. So, Pete, there was a really pivotal point at one of our gatherings in 2009 where it was the last morning of the gathering. So I remember this clearly. So I think you're going to remember this. And it was your first gathering at Mibbenbar, and we were sitting in a circle out in the open, if you like, and you were gathering up leaves, if you like. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
I do. I do.
Would you be able to explain a little bit about that? Because it was a really pivotal point in our journey at Mibbenbar.
I've been through hell with my life. Depression, marriage breakup, drug misuse, bike accident, all this sort of stuff. And when I was asked to be in attendance at the Mibbenbar camp in 2009 in Garrawood, because I took up that opportunity, and I made a goose of myself the first day there because I drove the bus from the airport and we did a few circles around, got totally lost until luckily we found our way out of Melbourne and on the way to the south, so we were doing all right. Once we got out of Melbourne, we were fine. But anyway, to get to the point where Jack was talking about, as he said, it was pretty well much the last day. And Brother Paulie Wright had done a smoking ceremony before we went over to sit we were out outside on an oval. boomerangs have been thrown around and windows were being broken and all sorts of stuff. And
again, that was Paulie Wright too. I'm dobbing
Yeah.
Paul. Yeah.
Paulie did. One of Crafty's boomerangs that Paulie threw and put it through one of the forum building's windows, and it was all fun. We all have a bit of a chuckle out. But anyway, he did a smoking ceremony for us and left the fire smouldering, and we left and we went over on the other side of the oval and we sat down under the shade of this tree and in a big circle, the strongest symbol, no weak links there. And Jack invited everybody to just reflect on their time at the camp and what they were taking out of it. And there was a few special things that I took out of it. Jack mentioned the didge. I had a little didge and I didn't know how to. I couldn't ever play it. But anyway, Brother Sandy was down there. Jason Sandy, boat as a boy. And he brought his didge down, and the way he played, the emotions he would put into that pipe was just phenomenal. Another of the brothers from Tweed. Am I allowed to talk about them, Jack?
100%, 100%.
Yeah. Chrissy Appo, who unfortunately is no longer with us. But Chrissy was he was a counsellor for the Tweed Hospital, and I was having a yarn with him because he was also the counsellor for the Middenbach camp in 2009. And I had a good yarn to him about what he was doing, what his work entailed. And I come away from the camp with two ambitions. One was to learn how to play the bloody didge properly. And another one was to become an Indigenous counsellor. So Jace took me on board with the didge, and he sort of mentored me a little bit with it, and I did a lot of work on my own, and I'm quite happy with where I am with my didge these days. I not only play it regularly, I create my own for my grandkids. I do all my own design. I taught myself art. But getting back to that, and Chrissy Appo, when Jack offered me the opportunity to do the narrative training, I was down to one of the Tweed men's groups, and Chrissy showed up, and I said, "Listen, brother," I said, "I've got an opportunity to become a counsellor. I've got this diploma that I've got ahead of me. Will you mentor me through this?" And he said, "Yeah, not a problem, brother, not a problem." But unfortunately, Chrissy passed away before that could happen. But I still went ahead, and I did my diploma. But it was while I was sitting there on this oval that Jack was talking about that led to all this. Everybody had the opportunity to reflect on their camp trip. And when it came around to me, I was listening to everybody, but at the same time, I was just subconsciously scratching around on the ground in front of me, and I'd created this pile of broken twigs and leaves. And when it comes to my turn to talk, I'm looking at this pile of twigs, this pile of leaves, and I just didn't realize what the hell I was doing. And I didn't really know what to say. But I realized that what I was doing, and this is what I said to the fellas, I said, I've got this pile of leaves in front of me. I've got this pile of broken twigs in front of me. And what I realized I think I'm doing here is this pile reflects the rubbish that went on in my life. And I need to get rid of it. So I go to Brother Paulie Wright. I said, "You're the caretaker of the fire, bloke. I don't want to go and throw anything on your fire without your permission. Can I go and burn this pile of my rubbish on the fire?" He says, "I'll help you." So we gathered it up and we went over, we dumped it on the fire, and I watched my history, my rubbish, just burn. And I come away from the camp with those two ambitions. I've become a counsellor. I've become a reasonable Didge player. I've become a reasonable artist. But none of this would have happened. None of this would have happened if it weren't for that camp, if it weren't for Mivimbar. And that's why I'm still proud today to pull this shirt out that I've got on today. That's why I have this Mivimbar mug in front of me every day I'm at work. It's a reminder of my grassroots of where I've come from to where I am today. So to anybody who's out there listening to this, doesn't matter what age you are, doesn't matter what rubbish you've been through life, there's opportunities to change. They're not going to present themselves in a gift wrap box. You've got to find them. When you find them, you've got to grab them and never let them go and make the most of it. And if you're going to have a go at it, give it your best shot. And as Derek said, you get called Perfect Pete or whatever it is.
Precision Pete.
Precision Pete.
I don't have to Perfect Pete, but he said Precision Pete. So
you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be precise. But as long as you're giving it your best shot and put your energy into it, you're going to have success. Doesn't matter what level of success, but you're going to have success. So that was that story, Jack.
Yeah, beautiful. I mean,
inspirational, brother. Yeah.
It sticks in my mind from 2000, as I said, 2009. It was a really pivotal point in that camp because I probably could have went, any which way, but it sort of just had that profound meaning to it that when you described that, it was like an aha moment for everyone else sitting in that circle. So it's just a beautiful point, and I'll never forget it. As you can see, go back to 2009 and remember it plain as day, because it was a massive gathering as well, because there was fellas that come out and talked about wanting to take their own lives and these sort of things. So it was such a powerful meeting of men who are still in contact today. Some we've lost along the way, which is, so sad as well. But that's still, there's fellas here that connect and talk, and we can all still get there together and have a great yarn.
You got a yarn, mate.
Got a yarn, yeah, and and I think that Pete, yourself, and thank goodness JB and Mimimbar were doing this activity. That to say yes to go to it, and have the courage to go to it, and the same with the blokes around who went to it, who attended that and sat in that circle. It's really important that we don't give up, and that's what keep looking for something that is going to help you. Otherwise, that's the message I got out of it. You just got to have a go at it, and see what happens. I know you said you felt a bit awkward the first day, but that slowly went, and I'm sure that JB and the guys made you feel comfortable and at home. And but yeah, that I think that, and it doesn't, and Pete, I just got to remind you what you were talking about in terms of your counselling and what how others approach it. What happened with you there is a fantastic example of that. Just getting together, participating, having a go at being involved in that camp or that that gathering. And just sitting and listening, and then realizing and finding your purpose was right there. So yeah, you know what I mean. That's good. I mean, it's not 100 questions, is it? It's not 100 questions. As I'm trying to tie the both of the conversations up, it's not 100 questions. It's actually just having a go, being involved and making the decision. If you want to get better, make the decision and keep looking. Don't give up. Yeah, fantastic, brother.
Yeah, well said. I mean, yeah, look, really great to catch up with you, Pete. I mean, pity we can't see your smiling face, but
you don't want to.
No, look, we really appreciate you coming back on. As we said before, it's been a few years since you've been on, and just to hear those stories, brother, I know they're really warm in my heart. I can promise you that, and I thank you for all that you've done for Mob over the years, and just an amazing story. That's how I see it, and I know that a lot of the other fellas that knew you before. They talk about the wild Pete, so it mightn't be precision Pete, it might have been wild Pete, I think. So
I haven't lost the wildness, Jack.
no, I got no doubt about that either, brother. So
yeah,
it's reigned and controlled, one might say.
yes, I
it's coming
understand.
in handy. I bet you. It's coming in handy at times.
Occasionally, Charlie.
Yes, yes. Mate, it's been really good catching up with you again. I'm hoping that when I get back to Oz, I guess I might. I think we're going to end up in Brisbane for a little bit, so I might pop up and see you, mate. If that's
Mate,
okay.
you're more than welcome to come on out here.
Yeah, I know we are.
Yeah, we're out in the sticks, mate. We're out. We're just surrounded. I cannot see anything but trees yet. It doesn't matter where I go on the property. I'm surrounded by trees. That's my life out here. Is our nature, and
that's where I feel most comfortable as well. Because my family's from the rainforest country, so up there, and around Yarrabah, Garanda, all that area. It's just that's where I feel most comfortable and connected with.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. Isn't it? Connection. It's a connection between two people, between you and the guys at the camp and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Spot on, brother. Spot on. Now, I just want to read out two other comments before we let you go. Derek said, powerful sharing, Peter, left me with powerful energy within me. I'm glad I heard you. And he also said, Peter, you will never know how many lives you have changed through being you. And I agree totally. So well said again, Derek. Thank you so much, brother. I'm going to leave the last word to you, Pete.
Yep.
And then we're off. And happy days to everyone.
Happy days.
Appreciate your words, Derek. I don't see me as a life-changing person. I just see me as somebody who's there to assist somebody to make the changes for themselves. It's the power within ourselves that does that. I'm just a tool to allow people to do that. So I can't take the gratitude of what people do with their lives. I'm just there as a sounding board with a bit of guidance, a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of life wisdom. But other than that, look, I appreciate you guys having me back today. It was a pleasure catching up with you, Jack. You too, Charlie.
Yeah,
and
good,
I really do appreciate that door that young JB opened up for me.
Still got my foot in it.
2009.
Yeah. No, my pleasure, brother. You know that. So,
all right.
Thank you. Say good day to Melissa for us. And keep doing what you're doing, brother. And I hope to catch up with you soon.
Well, I'm looking at getting into putting a proposal to the federal government. I've got some news this morning about the drug bombardment into schools these days, since the vapes were basically, well, they were outlawed through shops and the kids can't get access to them now. So there's been a void that was created that the youth at the school now needed to be filled, and unfortunately it's been filled by illegal drugs. And so I had to think about this morning. I've got a bit of an idea in my head, and I let Melissa, and we're going to do a bit of research on it and submit a proposal for funding to make some changes in that area. So, but yeah, any of you mob out there in Queensland who smoke or vape and you need some assistance, just give us a call. We're there to support you the same way as Jack has supported me, the same way as Jack has supported a lot of people around the community around Australia. So thanks very much, guys.
Thank you, Pete. I'll be in contact too, because we might get you out to some of our stuff that we're doing, so you can talk about what you're doing as well, brother.
You're more than welcome to. I'll find some way of fitting it in.
Yeah, love that. Yeah.
Take it easy on that brick wall, that stone wall, brother.
Well, I've got to start another one this weekend, Charlie. So,
geez, you'll be able to see it from space. How big is this wall?
So it's
not the wall. It's not the wall of China, mate. It's not that big.
What do they say? No rest for the wicked, eh?
Yeah, well, yeah. I'm tired with that brush, mate. I'll live with it.
All right,
gentlemen. See you later.
Thanks a lot.